Let's begin in the North Carolina Senate. It will be Republican-led for the first time since the late 1800s. 13 new GOP senators were elected in the 2010 election. That gives the Republicans a veto-proof majority of 31 members. Senator Phil Berger is the president pro tempore. Dr. James Forrester will serve as deputy Senate president pro tem. Onslow County Senator Harry Brown will serve as Senate Majority Leader, with Senator Tom Apodaca serving as Rules Committee Chairman. Senator Jerry Tillman was elected Majority Whip by the Republican caucus, and Senators Pete Brunstetter, Neil Hunt, and Richard Stevens will co-chair the Senate Appropriations Committees. That's a rundown of the Senate Majority Leadership team. Senator Phil Berger, the Senate President Pro Tem, joins us on North Carolina Now Legislative Week in Review. $3.7 billion, you believe you can get there without any taxes and through spending reductions or cuts. How do you do it? Not everybody agrees with that.
No, not everybody agrees with it, and there are several ways to get there. You look at it on paper, and it's just it's a matter of numbers. But what we want to do is prioritize how we address things. The first thing that we think we can do to get us to the $3.7 billion is effect some savings in the current fiscal year. The money we carry forward this year will enable us to cushion the blow for next year. So that's kind of the first step. The second step is that we go through the budget line item by line item, and we look at various programs and decide whether or not we keep these programs. We will definitely be looking at personnel levels. We'll definitely be looking at salary levels. We'll definitely be looking at other things that impact personnel and impact the overall spending. But we get there by reducing the amount of spending by a significant amount. It ends up being about 15 to 18%, and in some respects we probably eliminate programs that have been there up till now and curtail some others.
Do you foresee handing state agencies their own budget knife to cut, or do you see the Senate and the House coming together and making that determination on behalf of state agencies?
We would like to be able to give the managers in state government some discretion in making the decisions, because ultimately what we want to make sure that we do is that those functions that people depend on from government, the core governmental functions, we need to make sure that they continue in place with as little disruption as possible. And managers, good managers, are the folks that can best make those kinds of decisions. However, it would not be responsible for us to just merely say you've got to reduce X dollars from this budget and give all discretion to the agency. We've got to exercise our legislative oversight responsibility, and there will be some directive, but there will be some discretion as well.
Are you promising no new taxes at all in this biennium?
No tax increases, no extension of the temporary taxes that were put in 2 years ago.
The taxes that are on the books, so you're going to let those sunset or expire. Would you see that as a tax increase if you were to renew it?
Yes.
That is a tax increase. I want to be very clear on that.
Because if we do nothing, then the tax rates go down. We would have to affirmatively enact something to raise those taxes in order to extend them. So, one of the promises that was made in the recent election was that we would not raise taxes. We would allow the temporary taxes to expire.
If you're a North Carolina taxpayer, what should you expect out of your state government once these spending reductions are in place? What's realistic?
Well, realistic, I think you can expect the schools to be in session, the teachers to be in front of the classrooms. You can expect the colleges and the community colleges to continue functioning. You can expect transportation to be addressed appropriately. I think the average taxpayer will not see that much difference in state government when we reduce the spending by that amount.
And of course, there are tens of thousands of state employees throughout this state. What should they expect? Should they quake in their boots at the sight of you up there debating? How should they react to you coming in?
Well, a lot of the elimination of positions, to the extent that occurs, will be the result of attrition, retirements, folks leaving state government for one reason or another. We would look to eliminate a number of the positions that get vacated that way. That's going to be a big part of what we do. Beyond that, I think state employees should be looking at the function that they are providing, continue to do what they've been doing. We are going to do the best that we can to address what's a real problem, which is we have a certain amount of money coming in, and we've got to reduce the level of expenditure to meet the level of revenue, which is something that is required constitutionally of us.
What do you address next once you get your feel for how you want to handle this budget writing process?
The second big issue that the legislature has to deal with this term is redistricting, and that's something that in some respects will be going on a parallel track with fiscal, because we are under some time constraints as far as getting the redistricting maps prepared and finalized.
Senator Berger, thanks for being on North Carolina Now Legislative Week in Review. We'll have you on soon if you'll come on.
Thank you, Kelly.